I, on behalf of CII CDT, welcome you to this webinar on digital marketing. We are very fortunate to have Himanshu, am I audible?
Yes, Colonel, you are audible.
Yes, Colonel.
And my screen is also visible, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes, Colonel.
Great. So, as I was saying, I consider myself as lucky and fortunate to be the odd man out in this workshop, wherein we have a good set of combination of the ladies who will be talking today. We have Kavita from CII, Deepa from ADG, Suchita from Cognizant, Gyaneshwari from Pure Software. And they all are experts in their field, and they'll be sharing their experiences and educating us on the digital marketing concepts. Now, before we proceed ahead onto the workshop proper, I would like to quickly touch upon the Center for Digital Transformation, CII Center for Digital Transformation, which is actually conducting these various workshops and seminars for educating the people around. Now, today's session is digital marketing, and this I would consider it to be a part of the overall gambit of the digital transformation as such. So I'll briefly touch upon what our center does, what we are, and then I'll hand over the session to the panelists who will be talking about the digital marketing concepts as such. So before I talk about the center, I would like to touch upon the concept overall. Why? I mean, ready or not, digital transformation is reinventing the business as we know. Every enterprise now faces a choice between innovation or extinction. The present situation of COVID-19 is a sort of a litmus test for the same to a very large extent. Now, I would like to bring out here that digital transformation is not specifically about IT or technology only. It's about redefining the entire business strategy, perhaps even changing the organizational culture. To succeed in digital, the company should think of technology not just as a support function, but as a strategic competence. Digital transformation is not just about applying technology to business. It's actually about creating entirely new business models on the backbone of technology. Now, in other words, this transformation is about business transformation, which requires transformation of the underlying business processes. This in turn is enabled by the technology that has to transform to meet the change in the business process. And I can say very confidently now that digital transformation is no more an option. It is a necessity for survival in the current scenario and for times to come, of course. Some time ago, we had conducted a study. This was even before the COVID-19 situation, wherein we tried to get the readiness index of the Indian enterprise as well as for the solution providers. We found that there was quite a gap between the various dimensions for the solution seekers who are the Indian enterprises. And we also found that there was a gap for the solution providers as well. But this was, the magnitude was very less of the gap here. Now, when we dig deeper into the reasons for this gap, we realized there were several barriers. There was lack of clear digital operations vision and leadership support. Perhaps that stemmed out of unclear quantifiable economic benefits in digital investment. There is a major need for skilled workforce capable of supporting this digital shift. There are issues with data security, privacy, lack of digital standards, norms, and benchmarks. There's even scope for better technology collaboration among solution providers. In fact, we found there was a trust deficit between the service seekers and the providers. Service seekers complained that there's always a gap between the commitment of the sales team and delivery of the product team. Even the SLAs are biased towards service providers to a large extent. And the need was therefore felt to provide a trustworthy platform to help industry in its digital transformation journey. And that is how CDT was conceptualized. CDT, the Center for Digital Transformation, was conceptualized. Now, the vision of this center is to be a center of international repute that enables continuous betterment of organizations through digital transformation. And we are on a mission to create a movement, the digital transformation movement, wherein it is understood by all organizations that this is no more an option, it's a necessity and everybody has to adopt it. In short, our purpose is to help Indian industry become globally competitive through digital transformation. Now, what are our key interventions? The entire center rests on two basic pillars, which are the digital transformation services and the cybersecurity services. Within these services, we provide assessment, advisory, and directory. The assessment here is quite unique. It is not an audit sort of a thing that we do. It's a rating scale wherein we rate an organization after a detailed assessment. I'll be talking about that as well after a few slides. We rate an organization with respect to their current standing, with respect to their peers, and even the international standards to some extent. This helps them formulate their journey of digital transformation, thereby increasing their rating every time over a period of time. The advisory part is the helping in the framework or making the digital transformation journey roadmap. We also have a set of solution providers who can help you with that journey. We do not provide the solution, but you help you with that. And similarly for cybersecurity. We have skills and outreach programs which stem out of these two basic pillars. What I mean here is that any of the programs which we do for skills or outreach will have a component of one or both of the pillars, that is of digital transformation services or cybersecurity services. Within skills, we have skill programs, study missions, technological demonstrations. So I would consider this workshop on digital marketing as a sub-component of the skills program, wherein we are imparting education to the people on the digital marketing concept from the leaders in the field who are actually implementing it. And in the outreach program, we have various things like reports, awards, seminars, summits, workshops, roadshows. The list is long. During our flagship summit of Digital Transformation Summit in 2019 December, we launched DEXCEL. DEXCEL is our main model. This is the digital transformation excellence model based on which we do the rating for the organizations to help them perform their digital transformation journey. Now the DEXCEL is based on certain performance parameters. These parameters are rating system focus on the following parameters. There are 5 basic parameters on which we work. The first is strategy, structure, and governance. Then comes business processes. Then is the technology. Then is the culture and talent. Within each of these dimensions, there are various sub-dimensions when we deep dive into each of these dimensions and try to understand the organization's working and the culture and the processes, how they are adopting it. I said there are 5 dimensions. The 5th dimension is the business results. Now this dimension cuts across each of the above dimensions. What I mean to say here is that while we are assessing any of the dimensions and we deep dive into sub-dimensions, we also keep a track of their business results, because otherwise it is very difficult to get the business benefits separately for different aspects. We have skill building programs which we conduct countrywide. In fact, one session we completed just yesterday itself, which was on cybersecurity. We have conducted workshops, seminars, training courses in Delhi, in Gurgaon, Bangalore, Mumbai, various places. And in fact, we have post-COVID, we have also started conducting these programs online. And this is the feedback from the previous program. And what I would like to bring out here is that these programs are very unique in the sense that these are not a recorded video programs. These are one-to-one touch point programs wherein each individual gets to interact with the instructors directly and their queries are resolved immediately on the site. We have conducted various outreach programs, workshop, conferences, seminars. That's fine. That's one of the things. Within the outreach program is a flagship event of Digital Transformation Summits and Award 2019. I would again like to bring out that this awards, Digital Transformation Best Practices Awards, which was introduced last year, had received a very good response from the industry, mainly because it is recognizing of the best practices in the field of digital transformation by the industry. And it is shared with the other industry partners so that people understand what has been done and it can be replicated by others. So there's no need of reinventing the wheel. So this adds on to our digital transformation movement, which I talked about earlier. And one thing again I would like to bring out about the Dexcel, which we have, which is the core product of the center, is that it is unique in the sense because it has been brought by the industry for the industry. So therefore, it is very, very adapted to the current environment and helps industry in growing. So now, I think I have talked much about the center. Now what I will do is I'll introduce the speakers and then I'll hand it over to them one by one. The first speaker in the series is Deepa. Deepa is a digital media expert, serial entrepreneur and a tech evangelist with 20 years of IT experience. She is the CEO of ADG Online, Vivoki India, IWIL India. She has featured in CNBC TV 18 to be amongst the 32 impactful women challenging the digital world and also featured amongst the MSME top 100 women entrepreneurs compendium in India. She devises digital media and transformation strategies for central government entities, SMBs, MNCs in digital office automation, digital branding, CRM, ERP solutions, data analytics, business intelligence, AI. The list is long. So we'll hear her when she explains that what all she has done, and we'll learn from her as well. The second speaker would be Suchita. She is the Senior Director, Growth and Strategy, Digital Business at Cognizant. She has been helping clients navigate the future to digital era. She has 20 years of record achievement targeting niche B2B audience for IT products and services using conventional and new age marketing tools and media. She is an experienced and dynamic marketing professional with passion for technology, exceptional communication skills, and understands the benefit of running integrated marketing campaign to move customers through the buyer's journey. She has a deep understanding of the IT ecosystem, complex enterprise purchase decision-making processes. She specializes in all facets of marketing, covering corporate communications, media relations, sales promotions and lead generation programs, ROI-driven campaign management, channel marketing and partner management, market access. So the list is long. And being an industry veteran, Suchita has been recognized with several industry awards and accolades. The third speaker is Gyaneshwari. She is the head marketing at Pure Software, marketing and communication professional with more than a decade's experience in helping brands to foster community of leaders finding their best fit on the digital media and generate revenue through value-driven campaigns. She is a seasoned marketer with intellectual agility to enabling B2B and B2C business functions and highly proficient in driving profitability using an advanced marketing approach for market segment, product positioning, and product promotion. She prefers exploring digital media as most relevant tool for its multitude of benefits and boundless opportunities. As I said earlier, I am happy and proud to be the odd man out here, wherein I'll get the opportunity to listen to the features or listen to the talk of these expert ladies. So with that, I'll hand it over to you, Deepa, to start with your part of the conversation. Over to you, Deepa. Himanshu, can you hand over the presentation rights to her?
Thank you so much, Colonel Sethi. It's a pleasure being here this afternoon, and this has been your presentation was very enlightening. We got to know what the Center for Digital Transformation is doing. With this, I'll start my patch and I'll share my presentation. If you could could pass on the console, Himanshu, that'll be great because I'm still.
Yeah, Deepak.
Yeah.
So I have made you the presenter.
You made me a presenter? Okay. Just one sec. Okay. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
It's visible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So, as we see, the world is not going to be the same again, and every business is going to realign, rejig, reinvent, and recalibrate. You know, what we were, which world we were in, and what we are going to be in. Digital has a very major role to play. And I believe that a large number of SMEs are going to get into the digital fraternity or the echelon. This is a major stay. We are going to see virtual highways. They're going to be dominant. We might see collaborative web practices more often. Automated solutions will take away the major piece. Skill bracement would be a very large component of the coming technology and the coming deals that we see. Cost-cutting measures is going to be the need with it today with all the SMBs. Automated processes, as I said, digital transformation will be the mainstay, the core area. And apart from that, bracing up of skill sets, training programs will be major ready. With that, I'll start with this. My presentation is fairly long. It's about 60 slides, but I'm going to skew it down, keep it very bulleted, focused. For anybody to have questions, they may come later, but I would elaborate as much as possible. I've been introduced already. These are my 4 companies that I've curated over the last 12 years. This gives me enough exposure, because that's given me lots and lots of experience working with SMBs, small budgets, large budgets, working with enterprises, different domains. How do you generate leads for businesses? How do you curate brands? How do you focus in one niche selling direction? I'll give you a very interesting example. So this edition of mine, I have collated about 5 or 6 SMB examples that you're going to see. Very quickly, I'll not take much time. My desktop tells you what my company has been through, like what is the journey, which are the PSU and state and central government bodies that we are handling at the moment. Very quickly, the services. We've been stitching all these services, the clients, now the synopsis. There are 6 major pointers that you see in the first one. I'm going to talk about the landscaping. What basically is digital media? What are the SMBs doing nowadays? The second is, why is social and digital media so important? Yes, it is going to be the hygiene. And for those who have not traveled this part of the world, we'll have to adopt these practices of hygiene. And as we see in 2021, in my coming slides, you'll see that most of the businesses will have to go digitized if we are to win in this economy and see the vision of Mr. Modi, going in trillions. The third point I'm going to talk about, constituents of digital media. What is it exactly and what are the basics? The fourth pointer is understanding the KPIs, key performance indicators and tools. Fifth is disruptive innovation, and sixth is case study. Landscaping. So as I said, 2021, 60% digitized GDP. We all have to prep up, and that is where the country needs to incubate the SMBs all across cities and smaller cities and different geographies. 2/3 of the global internet population with its social networks. And most importantly, 53% of consumers still consult social media before buying. And that gives us enough reason. If you would ask me, India has world's 2nd highest number of internet users, and consumption patterns, digital is the main dynamic of the day. Just an idea, which are the popular applications in the world, Google being number 1, followed by YouTube, then Amazon, then Facebook. If you see the canvas, it's mostly digital all across. And even in this particular time, the companies that they're building revenues are majorly digital in their approach. We have 560 million plus internet users and a population of 1.36 billion. I'm sure that's enough to tell you. And I don't know if how many of you have heard the phrase, but they say if Facebook was a country, it would be bigger than China or bigger than any other country. So Facebook, then LinkedIn, all these have a decent amount of population. Why is it so important? If you see 75 million SMBs, I expect to 14 to 16 billion on digital technology in 2019. So it's very important that we get indexed on the web, we get proliferated in the web, we build conversions to our customers, we identify the personas of the people who we are going to target without spilling over. So the conventional technologies or advertising gimmicks are going to be far more, what is the word, intelligence oriented. And it is not a very long highway in the sense that business intelligence will be combined with digital in the coming years. Maybe the next 2 years, you would see digital transformation as a center core of digital marketing. And this is my most popular line, that the role of a CDO, a CMO, and a CIO would soon merge. So that is how everything integrates. So quickly, we had a discussion and I thought, why should I not include some SMB case studies? So I have not focused on the brand case studies per se. I have basic small MSMEs, SMB businesses, what they're doing. If you look at FabPanda, created the e-commerce structure and we had about 10,000 brands congregated on this, about 20 lakh products and 15,000 daily transactions. Now that is the beauty of online medium. If you want to build a business, you don't need to go anywhere. It comes to you and you convert it. So 5 lakhs plus community members on social media. That is the power of digital media. Now this is DaVinci. I'm sure none of you have heard about it, but DaVinci is a German channel that was launched in India and we curated communities for children. I'm very proud that we curated this channel with 5 lakh subscribers and there were subscription-based fees and very decent footfall. Lawvedic, this is the third example. If you see, it's a legal service app platform and we curated 1 lakh lawyers in this. This is very innovative. I don't know if you're listening. Is everybody able to hear me clearly?
Yes, Deepa.
Yeah, okay, great. So if you see, a community of 1 lakh lawyers is very innovative and you no longer have to look for a lawyer. You can build a community and you can also find a lawyer that's appropriate to your own, benefit. So 15 lakh impressions every day we were making Lawvedic. I had options to pick up brands like, I had options to Tata, I had options to Estee Lauder. But I thought I would rather take MSMEs as to how they're making money through digital. So I stayed focused. Now, this is a very interesting example. Take a look at this. This is MediGuru. Now, this is a homegrown company. And in fact, I'd say this is a part of our venture only. Now, the beauty is that this has been curated within the last 45 days. And I'm very proud to tell you that this particular SMB unit is garnering revenues in crores. In the last 50 days, this has been incorporated. Every day, approximately 30 to 40 transactions are happening. The best part is the company that has curated has completely transformed its service sector, seeing COVID and seeing the current contemporary times. They're making money while others are waiting to, thinking what to do. So what I'm saying is, the bottom line is that as the times change, the companies need to change their alignments in business. They need to think very innovatively and flow in the direction of the wind where it is going. But this is one of the most classic examples that you can cite. Now, very quickly, I don't know if I should have included it, but yes, we curated the UP Chief Minister's campaign and we won an award for this. This was done almost like last year. We were there for almost 2 years in this campaign. And we curated the entire Kumbh in 2019 and won an award with Economic Times. So I can detail it if you want, but I'd like to keep it short. If you have questions, I'd love to answer later because we have other speakers too. So very quickly, now I come back to the main slides and I say, what is digital marketing? Well, I know everybody knows what is digital marketing, but just your products selling through digital devices and promoting through services, promoting your services. That is digital marketing. Why? Obviously, niche selling, performance-oriented, targeting your niche, and generating potential business leads. Key steps. Well, it's very simple. This is what I do. Step 1, research customers, identify potential buyers, and retain them and measure them. Guide to start your digital marketing and social media strategy. What do we do? If I was an SMB, I would first book a domain. buy a web hosting service, content plan, conceptualize my website. I would test it, deploy it. I would proliferate social media. I would engage a blog, and then I would curate it on the web through different paid mediums. I'm going quick. If any questions, I'll surely take it later. How the marketing world has evolved. Look at this image. Now, this is very interesting. Well, we used to market with catalogs and printing and media and TV, but now we are going into something new. This is a new term, which is called predictive marketing. And how is predictive marketing done? It's done through account-based techniques. It's done through CRM techniques that we discuss later. There's one question, if you were to ask me, what is the importance of digital marketing? I would say affordability, increased brand awareness, high search rankings, and niche selling. There are three kinds of digital marketing. The first is paid media, the second is earned media, and the third is owned media. What is paid media? Well, all the ads that you see, display ads, affiliate marketing ads, digital signage. What is owned media? Your website, your blog, your mobile apps. And earned media, the influencer outreach that you earn, word of mouth, social networks. Something very interesting, the 5 Ds of digital marketing. As I said, the time is not far away when transformation merges with marketing, and all the things that you see here would, collaborate together to deliver what you are asking, deliver your ask, and give you your customer with conversion. What is the recipe to a great digital strategy framework? Well, you collaborate, use the technology highway, you curate data, you build your processes, you stitch your strategy. I think that is how it is. Let's talk some social media facts. 93% of social media users believe a company should have a presence in social media. Yes, obviously, yes. Most of us are glued on cell phones most of the day, and we're living in virtual worlds already. And it's not far when augmented and virtual reality is going to take the mainstay. Companies like, you name it, Intel, Facebook, everybody's invented and invested in virtual reality. So definitely social media is a big, big yes. The demographics globally. Facebook is very huge, 1.3 billion. Huge is the word. And the surprising thing, in this entire pack is, I don't know if you agree with me or not, YouTube obviously is very powerful, but Pinterest is really coming up. And as an SMB market practice, practitioner, I would say that Pinterest is really giving you an advantage when you're wanting to build your business. You can create beautiful pins, build boards, and then write lovely blogs to get into search indexation. Here's a classic case study. It's a small case study, but I have picked up Cisco. We did this case study in Cisco, and we converted and turned followers into patrons. Now, this campaign was done with the help of Cisco promoted tweets, Cisco promoted Twitter, and Cisco website cards. Disruptive? Yes, we are ready. We are ready. What do you think are the 5 things that do the main play or the mainstay in digital? Pay-per-click, social media marketing, search engine marketing, blogging, email marketing. When you integrate everything in the right proportion and optimize your campaign, then you have the best results to market your business. And that is when you find your answer in digital marketing. If you see the screen, most implemented marketing tactics in SMB's business. Surprisingly, our dear email marketing comes on the top. The beauty is most of the businesses are still using email marketing and followed by search engine optimization. So this slide, probably you can refer if you were to build a campaign, how to best utilize an event or a campaign. Another thing, owned media, paid media, and earned media. We can segregate this. As I said, website, mobile site, display ads. So the list is long. You can take a picture of this if you want to. It can really incubate a lot of, it gives a lot of information. Now, this is my favorite slide in the pack. When I say, and I begin a beautiful conversation for the next 5 slides, so I would need your attention. There has to be a clear-cut call to action when I devise a campaign to market my event, my product, or my solution without a spillover. That is the real digital marketing in these times, the times of COVID, the times when we have to see challenge. What are the 5 questions I'm going to ask when I'm going to strategize a campaign? First, what is the message that I need to convey? Second, how and in what tonality it should be done. Third, where are my customers? Do I have their buyer personas? Where are they? Are they on social or they are in the enterprise category? What is the most appropriate channel to arrive at the best? And then how much optimization will be done to achieve it? So very quickly, how should I be using the digital media? This is what you have to ask before you begin this. Identifying personas, filtering your customers, creating web content collaterals that lead to nurturing journeys. 4 things. Kavita, can you hear me? Are you with me, all of you? Because
Yes, we can hear you.
yeah, okay. So look at this interesting thing. I mean, I've learned it over 12 years. This is my 12 years of learning that you see on the screen. Fully automated campaigns. Now, for those who do not understand the basics, like this might find a little more advanced, but fully automated campaigns where we integrate the customer relationship management tools with marketing automation tools, which is the next level, which is the advanced level. The second is focusing on ROI. Well, let's do branding, but it has to lead to ROI. Account every penny based on a definitive outcome. Like if I'm spending 5 lakhs, I need X amount of leads coming in. I need so many impressions. I need so many clicks. And I need so much ROI, brand presence or share of voice. And of course, the customer wants to hear a story. So build a journey, tell a story, create content collaterals, deliver value. In whatever you deliver, make sure it orients with a value. Look at this slide. I don't know if you like it or not, but I love it personally. And there are 7 things that it says. Okay. Are you with me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go on.
Yeah. If you see the 7 things that are the majorly transition towards virtual highways. Okay, virtual. I have just signed up with a client to do a digital workshop on the 18th, wherein we are doing a virtual event on the web. That means people are going to have stalls, jewelry stalls. About 30 jewelry stalls are going to come from across India. Videos content should be encouraged in vernaculars. Webinar, well, we're on the right track. Hyperlocal channels, shared service business. Now, this is important. If I have a tool which is expensive to buy, I would share it with another SMB or another fellow or an MSME to save costs. The seat can be bought. 5th, e-commerce frenzy. Sell products online. I give you the COVID example. This is a fantastic example of how to make money in these disastrous times. You can make money through e-commerce. Process automation. Well, we have talked about it. I'll glide quickly. And of course, we have spoken about buyer personas. Answer the question, what is my customer? So when we do campaigns in Facebook, when we do Pinterest campaigns, or when we do LinkedIn campaigns, there are 5 questions the platform asks us. Who do you want to go to? What is his genre? What is the person's occupation? And what is his interest? So we can classify customers based on different categories, even their handsets and mobile phones. Now that is very interesting. And this is the power of digital media. 8 characteristics of a great website. You might think, why is she telling us this? But trust me, if you have a good website, you're half sorted and everything is taken care of. Strong domain name, easy navigation, great designs, convincing portfolio, and strong security with compelling testimonials is what shows you the way ahead. So, as in my book, if you read my book, it says your website is the gateway to your business. So it is the underlying thing. Virtual offices, OTT channels, podcasts, mobile optimization, and very importantly that I've not mentioned in my presentation is use of chatbots. You don't need a person to serve your customers. A chatbot can serve you well. I'll give you fantastic examples. Office.com at Microsoft does fantastic job as a virtual chatbot. They'll really take care of you and you don't need a physical person sitting and answering your queries. So that's a very brilliant example. Retargeting. If you land on my website, I will map you and I will deliver my campaign to you, which is nothing but retargeting, mapping, creating, and nurturing. Kavita, you may knock me when I'm done on my time. Yeah?
Sure.
Yeah. So next thing, now another one, nurturing buying journeys. How do we do that? If I was to sell my book, or if I was to sell my business, there are 6 things that I'm going to do. First, I'm going to build an outreach to a few influencers on different platforms. and I'm going to ask them to do this for me, to talk about my product. But here's a challenge that I see. My product has to be good enough to engage. One, I am going to use podcasts. Yes, definitely. Affiliate channels to promote my product. I'm going to use native ads. Native ads are nothing but contextual ads, which don't sound like ads, but they're actually ads. And I'm also going to have a great CRM solution integrated in my entire piece, right? And lastly, the next 10 years, as Mukesh Ambani said, data is gold. Yes, it is gold. And if you know this fiasco, this happened with Facebook and the US presidential elections also. I shouldn't be mentioning, but data is the goal that you sit on, and you can achieve your milestones sitting on data. And that data can be integrated with marketing automation. Look at this slide if you were to see this. I build a CRM solution. Yeah, I'm going to skew it down, Kavita.
Yes, just 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes. Yeah. So marketing automation blended with a CRM gives you nothing but an insight into data, where we do predictive scoring or predictive sales, which is nothing but account-based marketing. That also comes into it, which we target customers based on their. So if somebody asks you, what is predictive lead scoring? I would say integrate your customer relationship management tool with your marketing automation tool and analyze your data. And that is where you get your customers. You don't have to run in the field looking for customers. That's the answer. And this is it, detailed. How do we do predictive lead scoring? What is my ideal customer profile? And here's another example before I wrap up. Kavita, another 1 minute to go. What is how Netflix is doing it? It's a brilliant job. I'm sure everybody is watching Netflix. Based on my search indexation, Netflix gives me what to watch. This is nothing but, again, a beautiful example of marketing based on data and artificial intelligence. So digital very soon integrates with AI, machine learning, and transformation. That's it. And before I wind up, best applications for this one, you have to see if you're an SMB looking for productivity, these 15 or 12 applications, you're sorted. Your digital, what is the right word? The congregation or the digital echelon is ready to be fired. You're catapulted into another direction. So CRM, accounting, SEO, these are the 12 applications you should have on your cell phone. So that's it. I have backup slides. If you want to take them, more than happy. And last thing is the KPIs, social media listening, some are at e-commerce. So that's a wrap-up session for me. Keep watching if there's anything that you like in this pack. And yes, Airbnb is a great example. That's it. Yelp is another beautiful example how innovation is done. And I think we are sorted. And I think I'm bang on time, and I'd love questions if any. With that, thank you so much, Kavita, Colonel Zaidi, and everybody on the panel and all the participants.
Thank you so much, Deepa. That was very interesting. And now, for the benefit of the participants, they can type in their questions in the question answer session. We'll take it at the end of all the presentations. And now I would like to invite Ms. Suchita Vishnoi, the Senior Director of Cognizant on Growth and Strategy. She'll be speaking on digital marketing in the age of millennials and disruption. Over to you, Suchita. Himanshu, can you?
I think I already have the rights. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. And thank you, CII team, for having organized this on a Saturday. I think we've got a fair good attendance on this session. So thanks, Deepa, for really setting the stage, because I think you've done a 360-degree coverage on. It's a very, very deep subject. It's not easy really to cover digital in like 15-20 minutes. So I think you've done a whole lot in terms of ensuring we've got at least our basic set. As I move my slides, I think each one of you can actually view my slides. I'll just go off on the video so that, you can see my slides, I hope. So I have 8 slides to walk you through, and I've kept them very contextual, going with the fact that we have a situation that each one of us were not prepared. At least 3 or 4 months back, we didn't even know what we were getting into. So I've looked at 2 challenges, and this image that I've used on the title slide really explains how digital has become a solution to a problem which is called social distancing. A lot of the brands we engaged with face to face, walked into retail stores, we are unable to do that. We are unable to walk into restaurants and eat the food we want. So in a big way, digital is helping us bridge that gap or provide the solution to this big problem that we're currently, facing. And just setting the context from where, Deepa left, it's true that we are in a situation where we are constantly evolving. The fact is that there is a flux of technology that's happening right now. And in that, there is an increase of use as far as digital or use of internet is concerned. There's complexity in the market. Also, the whole gamut of digital is fairly complex. If you really go into the length and depth of understanding digital, there's a lot that needs to be understood and develop skills around. And to all that, there's this new problem called COVID-19 that has added a new layer of the new normal to our lives. So this is what we are battling with, and which is why I thought today's topic should be something that covers millennials and the disruption that we are facing in the market. So just starting with some of the stats, Colonel Zaidi and Deepa have covered some of these stats, but I'd like to just set a context. There's a single slide which covers what is the current scenario as far as digital is concerned and what has been the impact of COVID on the use of social and digital. So if you look at it, as far as growth is concerned, India's digital advertising industry is growing at an average of 33.5%. This is probably the fastest any industry is growing. And so all of you who are looking at careers in digital, are exploring digital as a medium, there's all good news for you, even in a time like this, which is recessionary. As far as users are concerned, there's 564 million Indians that are regular internet users today, and that number is only going to grow. It's not going to go less. As far as businesses are concerned, globally, 40% of the businesses today really depend on digital marketing to reach out to newer customers, newer markets, and even have the entire product range out there. So you can see even in the current scenario, digital is pretty positive and growing. It is a hype. If you look at the impact that COVID has had, I think digital is the only, digital and healthcare, I should say, has been positively impacted by COVID. So let's begin with how has it impacted social media? If you've seen, there has been a 50x surge during lockdown alone for usage of social media. I think I've done a lot of TikTok, as in not created my videos, but watched a lot of TikTok, been using a lot of YouTube, and generally just doing net surfing far more today than I've done earlier, because earlier I think all of us were just jammed in, on the roads in traffic jams. And now that we're in a lockdown situation, we've got a lot of time at hand to actually browse. And if you look at the usage time, and that's exactly the point I'm making, that earlier we were using about 1.5 hours per day. This has increased to 4 hours. That's really high, taking an average time. On the video as well, YouTube has actually seen a 20.5% surge in subscribers, and that's been only in a span of 45 days during lockdown. So all of this data I've sourced from different, and this is India-specific data, most of it, but I've sourced from online data providers, and this was quite alarming because I was also wanting to see what has been the impact of COVID and how are the digital trends really shaping. So which brings me to another point, and that is that disruption can lead to increased productivity, innovation, and optimized results. And while disruption, and when I'm talking of disruption, particularly I'm talking of COVID here, this crisis is temporary, but this too shall pass, and it has taught all of us many lessons. So while we do know that we are in a safe place, because we're talking of internet being really the backbone of what we do, but internet is our playground and it is buzzing with a lot of activity, and it's time for each one of us to actually up our skill, up our game, use digital as a medium to reach out to our customers, whether it's SMBs. And thanks to Deepa, she's put together some fantastic slides on SMBs and how they've scaled up. Even I wouldn't have wondered, because we normally hear of the big logos that are out in the market, but it's great that each of these SMBs are using those trends. So some of the things that should not be ignored, and this is what we should be looking at and doing. One is AI, the artificial intelligence and machine learning, which is going to be absolutely feeding into everything that goes digital, is extremely important. Data driven, and like she mentioned, data is the new gold. So data-driven marketing, everything centered around customer data, the frequency with which a customer buys, what are his nuances and preferences, everything is getting actually collated by organizations that are tapping that information for programmatic advertising, for personalization, as well as like targeting, ABM. All of this really makes sense with the use of technology. The other thing very important is content, extremely important. While we do use technology to power the way we reach out, use it to enable our platforms to reach out to customers, we must remember that content is the soul of digital. Do not forget, content's the most important, and it needs to be very, very relevant, based on which platform are we using. So something which is a blog content is going to vary from what goes on LinkedIn, what is on Instagram, what is on Facebook, what you use on TikTok or Pinterest. So you've got to keep that in mind. It could be the same product, but how you engage on each one of the platforms has to be made more relevant. The brands have to be very conversational, and we have to ensure that we are building empathy and trust. And I have a separate slide which talks about empathy and trust as far as content is concerned. So the third element, which is extremely important, is voice and visual search. That's one of the things that some of the players are really picking up, like image search and voice search. Again, something that Deepa did touch, which is like Netflix or even Amazon. They are big right now on image search. So they are personalizing their content and serving content based on image search and the way they profile each of their users. The fourth thing around social media, and the new thing that's just come up is the whole acceleration of social commerce, and Facebook has started using that. And this whole social commerce is going to be the the new way of doing e-commerce, and also the AR integration into it that provides more competency in any engagement that you do over social media. It's definitely more authentic, and customers really tend to believe this far faster. So offline and online integration is extremely important today, because we had never imagined a time when we are going to believe more into doing virtual events or just doing webinars and not meeting. I think it's probably the first time in my life I've not stepped out in about 2 months, not been to a real life event. But I have been so busy, extremely busy, because every day you have plenty of webinars you're either speaking at or attending yourself. So this is the new normal, and making real and virtual seamless is extremely important for brands and organizations to know. Also, the customer experience, whether it's offline or online, it should remain the same, so that the customer goes back feeling the connect with the brand. Could be any platform that they've engaged on. The last, which cannot be missed, is the MarTech stack, which is the backbone of digital spends. And Deepa did mention about the CRM tools, using all of the CRM competencies to ensure that how you do data-driven marketing and use technology to be able to get better ROI, better returns from your investments, and definitely have very meaningful engagements with your customer. I move to the next slide, which is the next thing in the topic. So I've talked about disruption, I've talked about millennials, and I've talked about content. So these three put together are the complexities we are looking at in the world today, and especially when you go digital, how do you really handle each one of these complexities? So understanding the millennial consumers is very, very important. Who are they and what is it that they want? So if you look at it, they need flexibility. They don't want to be tied on to anything. They go with convenience. They're anonymous. They're emotional. They need a connect with the brand. They need everything must be like, it's a fast food generation. They definitely want quick, fast responses and results. They expect to be understood by brands, and they prefer, they want to control their own journey through this whole engagement of buying a brand. So it's very important to understand your consumer and then start looking at how you build content and the engagement platform with these millennials, because they are the ones who are going to be ruling the roost now. They are the ones who will have maximum purchasing power. They are the ones who are going to use the digital platform to really your products, or even talk about your products to their peers, to influencing prospects online. So it's very important that you need to curate, concise, and create credible content which goes online. This has to be extremely relevant given the time, given the product, given the age group you're catering to. whether it's a B2B audience or a B2C audience. Also, short form, snackable, and engaging content is really what is the need of the hour. Something up to about 2 minutes is something people will watch. Otherwise, there's too much distraction, even in a small screen like your iPhone or your iPad or your laptop. You are constantly moving in and out and looking at different content. So having short form, snackable, and engaging content will keep them glued, and driving that traffic to the right relevant pages where they can conclude a purchase or conclude a buying engagement is very essential. Consistency across mediums. You must maintain, and what I just covered is offline and online integration. Similarly, across mediums, there should be consistency in how your brand looks or feels. I did mention your content must be different for each platform, but there has to be a consistency in the way that content appears. Also, each of these millennials go with reviews. No one does any bookings, whether it's in booking.com or Make My Trip. If you're planning a holiday, I don't know when that will happen. But yes, everyone is looking at reviews, even for Airbnb, even on Amazon. Any product that I buy, I'll ensure I've seen the reviews, at least checked on a couple of reviews before I go and purchase. So it's very essential that you have to build the right reviews, for which the product has to be good. The service support that you're providing online has to be very good. You have to have an authentic story of success, and that's what it combines very well with the point that I just mentioned about being influenced by reviews. So all of this put together, and looking at data-driven, personalized, and localized content, or digital marketing, which is enabled by data, is the key to success and the key to influence the millennials. And this infographic I thought was very interesting because it really covers all of it. Who are millennials? They're really born digital. You understand that they are using all of these platforms. You can see a whole lot of platforms here that they're using to engage. So there is a dominance of social networks in their life. They're constantly moving from one platform to the other and consuming content. And if you look at it, by 2030, we are assuming 75% of the workforce in the world is going to be millennials. And they will, if they are the workforce, they have the purchasing power. If they have the purchasing power, they are your consumers. And therefore, your brand has to be fit to be able to serve that segment. So they are confident, they have high expectations, and they are achievement oriented. And that changes the whole game for each one of us as brands or digital marketers to be able to cater to this audience. So I've touched on, what are the data stats as far as digital is concerned, and currently during COVID, I also, touched upon the millennials. And now comes to how do we stay relevant in a disruptive, the current time, and how do organizations, employees, or even each one of us as individuals remain relevant? All of us have had enough time at hand to, upgrade our skills, take up some courses, do some reading, develop some new skills. Similarly, I would say that staying relevant in disruptive times is got to do a lot with keeping digital at core. Digital is no longer an option. It is a necessity for us. I do remember Colonel Zaidi using exactly the same line. And I would like to reiterate, this is no longer an option for any organization. Digital now is the core of what you do. So just keeping digital at the center of it, and even some organizations could be smaller organizations. You have to take baby steps to digitization. You cannot be a complete digital transformation, organization. It takes investment, it takes change in your thinking pattern. So keeping your content contextual to the times is very essential, especially for digital marketing. Moving back from digital to digital marketing, it's very important that all of your content should show empathy to customers and employees. So most of the big brands now are talking about how they need their employees safe first, and then they talk about customers and showing empathy to customers. A lot of brands have actually reached out to their privileged customers and checked upon them if they and their families are doing well. So showing empathy is extremely essential. None of us were prepared for this time. And that itself is an adaptive way, to handle content in a disruptive era like this. Staying agile and being, and using adaptive techniques to be able to rule the market and stay there longer, to be remembered as a brand is another key stake here. I did mention about taking online and offline content, integrating this together is again something, a lot of large events just got cancelled, and all of them have moved on to an online platform. So there's a whole change, and this need to be nimble and agile at this point in time is something that every organization must do. So building a momentum on virtual connects, obviously, because each of those connects are actually going to be your future customers or existing customers. Embrace data-driven marketing, which was something we did cover, and using digital channels for every engagement that you can. Apart from marketing, even the sales and the support teams have to show the same empathy, the same change of tone, the same kind of content and communication with customers during these times. So having empathy, having an empathy-led approach is important. Why? Because each of these customers are now, each of them are a little troubled, worried if they've placed an order to receive it. If they're facing a problem with your product, how can you support them online and stuff like that? So it all needs to be about them and not you. That's the most important thing. You have to be sensitive to the voice of the customer, and just being a brand that is human is what is going to get appreciated today. So anticipate customer needs, and especially needs given today's scenario. What the needs have changed dramatically. I mean, 3 months back, we did not imagine, what we would be buying, that we've probably started thinking of buying today, because that's the way the change of situation has driven us. So using storytelling techniques to convey empathy. A lot of the brands in India have actually come up with excellent videos on YouTube and short videos that talk about COVID. They talk about the current situation and how they are backing their customers during this time. So part of that storytelling, and also ensuring that you are a conversational brand, which means there are chatbots that are supporting your website. Your website is the gateway to your business. Very rightly put. And I'd like to reiterate that again, because that is where you can do real-time responses to customers and, connect with them based on their requirement or future needs. So this is my last slide, and this is actually a summation of some of the cases. I thought this was bring forward too. So I just have one line, to talk about each of these. I've looked at about 8 big brands, and most of these are global brands, but there are a lot of lessons that each one of us today, even SMBs or mid-market companies, can learn from them. So out of these 8, I've got 2 which are homegrown companies, and they've scaled up a lot during these times. So I'll quickly touch upon it, starting with Dell. Dell really ramped up their online stores and support to cater to the growing demand for laptops because of this work from home economy. So suddenly there was a surge of, a lot of for online, especially placed online for laptop purchases. So that's one thing. They just spiked up this whole online store, and also what they provided to their customers. So that's one good lesson for us to see. And they use the power of digital to get across to that. Amazon, all of us have been reading how they have hired, and the latest number I read was 175,000 resources to cater to a surge of online deliveries. They've even really looked at the supply chain and prioritized their deliveries. They prioritize deliveries based on what are the essentials from non-essential items, and they schedule their delivery. So just looking at the entire supply chain and ensuring these are done, to cater to customers that are isolated or quarantined and they cannot move out of their locations. The third one is Whole Foods Market, which is again Amazon grocery store. They increased their capacity for delivery again with the support of digital, and they have made exceptions for senior citizens. So senior citizens that walk into the stores or need delivery, there's special privileges for senior citizens, and this is specific to US market. So that's also good to note. The fourth one, I think one of the companies, or one of the few companies that have highly benefited, we do know the stock prices really went up, is Zoom. So Zoom has spiked in and especially because of the spike in virtual events. This platform is used tremendously for all webinars today. So with WebEx and Zoom, all of us are actually running business as is. So daily users increased by 30x. And this happened for Zoom in a span between December to April. So in almost about 5 months, they have increased their daily users to 30x, which is a big number to go with. And this marks the increase in investment that is happening in cloud and SaaS products. So that's again something for us to learn, and that obviously is the basis for digital. Planet Fitness, all of to a gym to do our workouts. No one has imagined we'd be doing yoga or we'd be doing exercises at home. So live streaming exercise classes being done by Planet Fitness, and those were being promoted through social media platforms like Facebook. They were a big hype, and a lot of people actually enrolled in them. So that also is a great example to go with. Then is Netflix, and all of us have. If we hadn't subscribed to Netflix, I'm sure all of us have subscribed to Netflix given the time we have at home. So this has increased membership, and they're also serving personalized content across genre, and that is based on the visual search. So they've added a lot of nuances using artificial intelligence to be able to serve better content to the users. In the last we've got Big Basket and so I'll quickly touch together because I think they have a lot of similarity in the way they tackle the situation in India. So they ramped up their door delivery. So obviously for a week or 10 days after the lockdown was announced, everyone was in a fix and no one knew how it's going to go. But they took a while and they revamped the way they were doing deliveries. They caught, there's this new word called contactless delivery, which we hadn't heard of before. That came into the picture. The concept of ghost kitchens, which we hadn't thought of before. So Swiggy really came up with the concept of ghost kitchens, and also, verifying the temperature of delivery staff, ensuring that they were using the Arogya Setu app and using this best safety standards hallmark for each of the kitchens or restaurants that are their partners that are providing food. Those were some safety steps that they took, and they sensitized the delivery staff to the social distancing norms to ensure that they were educated and they understood that it's very, very essential to keep the customer, safety and security at utmost priority at this time. So this is really, that sums up some of the cases that I've put together why our new age of millennial customers, as well as looking at digital during disruptive times.
Thank you, Suchita. This was very, very informative and very relevant in disruptive times where empathy is the key. Knowing your customer is very important, and one has to, ensure that the sales and support is also aligned closely, and the content that comes out of companies for the brands are also very important. So, thank you so much. I'm sure we'll take questions at the end of presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's over to Gyaneshwari now. I'll just stop sharing.
So I request Gyaneshwari Tiwari, the head of marketing from Pure Software, to kindly share her slides.
Thank you very much, Kavita, for a very good afternoon and warm welcome. So just like what Suchita ma'am said, it is very, very relevant, and she has provided just the right go-to guide for reaching to the millennials, like be it serving the bite-sized content to them or the reaching channel to them. So it was very, very precise. Thank you very much for that. So like we are discussing about the COVID situation, and my topic is exploring the business opportunities in the challenging times. So here I will try to point which is in the mind of my every fellow marketer. We all are trying to generate business and being relevant to our organizations. So we know that the time is really difficult now. So India is facing its worst recession in the current fiscal, which is said the employment rate is really high. The economy is down all over the world. Our economy is also dependent on the other. The same problem globally. We know that the problem is there, the situation is not favorable. And we also know that amid COVID, the ad spends have considerably decreased and the value generation has slowed down. So if you just see in my slide, so TV advertising has gone down by 33%, print media down by 37%, OH is also down by 49%, and so on and so forth for every other industry. However, amidst all this, if you just see, digital is the only platform which is still finding avenues for advertising and conversions. So through digital, you can do a lot more in a lot less. So as like Sushma ma'am was mentioning, my mother, who is an elderly person, she's always hooked to her mobile phone, scrolling it through, maybe watching some recipes or listening to some songs or doing some or the other thing. She's always hooked to her phone. So this is right platform to reach your target audience or reach to anyone if you want to. So what are the effective ways of marketing amid and post COVID also? So because COVID, the things are not going to be, magically changed or just flip over. So there is some struggling time for us, particularly for the marketeers. So we will have to be very, very careful about what should be the communication mode to use, how the content should be positioned, how are we going to define our buyer persona, the that is going to be for when we are reaching to our customers, and how the relationship building is going to help in the time of crisis. So there is a wonderful saying that you all must have heard in these times, especially. So never let a good crisis go waste. So in my next slide, it is completely in sync with this saying. So if you just taking from the different industry leaders. So if you take the automotive brand, Skoda is now investing for supporting the community. Tesla is producing ventilators. You know, it is a big company, and they're investing their time, money, and resource in producing ventilators. The hospitality sector player Oyo has offered their rooms as isolation centers. Taj Group, it is so big, they are giving away free meals to the luxury brand Louis Vuitton is converting. It has just waived off, manufacturing their fragrances and replaced it with making sanitizers in their facilities. Isn't that really amazing? I have more examples here, but just to quickly, take you through the slides, and I know we are running out of time. So why these brands are doing this? What is the motive behind doing this? So these brands, they are trying to be proactive and mindful to their roles in the current scenario and how they want to stand out and be more relevant. So exactly like Sushma ma'am said, they are touching the chord of empathy. They are being empathetic to the society. They are being empathetic to the current situation. They are promoting a cause marketing. They are just not trying to sell their products. They are doing the cause marketing. So what are the secrets? In this time of COVID, what is the secret to do the marketing? How your messaging should be? The secret three objectives here I have mentioned is highlight essential information in your communication and your advertising. Two, support the community. Show if you are supporting the community in a very subtle way. Of course, that is not something to be, bragged about, but you can do it very, very subtly, or provide entertainment or engagement to your customers at home. When I say entertainment and engagement, I definitely not only mean to engage them in some, musical concerts or virtual Antakshi for that matter. It can be through webinars or it can be through customer workshops or some trainings. But your marketing campaign in this COVID situation is fitting in either of these three objectives, you are going to navigate this crisis very well. So that is the information that is really important. Okay, you know that people are active on social media. Tap that channel. You know they are digitally connected. As I mentioned about an example about my mom, we have multiple examples everywhere. We are facing it ourselves that we are always hooked to our phone. We are always hooked to our social media channels. We are, constantly checking what is the update. And for entertainment also, we are switching over to Netflix, Amazon Prime, TikTok. These are the channels which are serving us in this time of crisis, and they are keeping our moods uplifted when we are, trying to adapt to the new normal situation. So choose one platform or two as you want to, and give your customers a mix of physical and digital experience. So in this slide, I have collated some points which is relevant to any industry. It is not specific to some industry. It can fit for your industry as well. So for if your business your target audience is on Facebook, go for it. Promote your services through offers, provide them leads, provide them some deals, show your preparedness through Facebook ads. If I can cite an example of Lakme Salon here, wherein the staff is wearing PPE kits and they are showcasing that they are maintaining the proper sanitization and everybody is prepared to serve you. So you can come there and deck up yourself and just be rest assured about the safety of your people and your loved ones. Provide them happy virtual hours. I saw that one of the brewery or one of the club on Facebook were providing happy virtual happy hours, wherein the audiences were asked to participate now and they can redeem it later. Isn't that really innovative way of engaging with your customers? So every social media platform has different way of engaging. Leverage those. If your customers are on LinkedIn, provide them virtual learning sessions, provide them free POCs, give them a virtual tour of your COE labs. For that matter, if you have an IoT lab in your facility, provide them a virtual tour of that. I'm sure companies keep a video of that, so you don't have to go down to your office at this time, but definitely you can use that video to provide a virtual tour. Engage with the leaders of your companies in some or the other communication. It should not be sales pitch ever. They can just communicate the business preparedness, how they are continuing the business, how they are facilitating their employees to work in this situation. So if you will see the tweets from the Zoom CEO, Eric, he doesn't talk about Zoom. He doesn't talk about how Zoom's business is booming. He always talks about how community people are, coming ahead and helping others, subtly saying using Zoom as a channel. So that is a very subtle message that has been provided through his tweets. But the main message is like Ed Sheeran is giving uh, guitar classes to students through Zoom. So similarly, if you're audience is on Instagram. So there are many stickers on Instagram, like a food ordering sticker. So there are opportunities wherein people can support your brand through these mediums. So you have to leverage them. It's just that you need to dig deeper into what this platform provides me and how I can tap my, audience over this platform, how I can engage with people. People are there on these platforms. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely. So you just need to find out the right medium to reach to them. But one very important information is do not ever spread misinformation or fake news through these channels because that can land you up in any controversy. Okay, so in this time for advertising, next comes the lead generation. So for lead generation, you will be surprised to see that paid ads are really cheaper at this time. It is the right time to pick up pay-per-click advertising because, as I mentioned, there is a quick tip from me is the traffic is really few. So you can definitely take an advantage of this situation and get some really good leads. However, in this situation, you can not simply, just push your product through your ads. You need to target your ads on need based and not only profile based. And also, every content that you are passing through your ad copies or to your mailers, it has to be intent driven. The intent should be that you are there to help your customers. When we say the empathetic content, this also means the same. Your intent. Your intent should be felt to the customers that you want to help them, be it by providing the solution to their problem, be it providing, entertainment to them. You are there for them. When you are doing this advertising, just make sure that you are using good content which is relevant in the current scenario and not pushing your product information or your solutions. Design a very good landing page with relevant messaging. In the landing page, try to put the information about your preparedness and working in this situation. So the businesses out there should be able to see that your work is done seamlessly, your company is working efficiently in this times also. So show everyone. So if you see this graph also, the ROI of paid ads is really above, which was pre-COVID times. So this is the right time to do the PPC, summarizing this slide. Okay. So once you have the top of funnel leads from PPC, then the next challenge that you may face is getting a conversion. Conversions are low. We know that conversions are low at this time because companies do not to shell out money out of their pockets, but there still are opportunities. The pocket size of the opportunity has to be found from you. Okay, there are solutions which can produce you conversions at this time. So for certain industries, the conversion is already high, as we are mentioning, OTT media, pharma, and food. These industries are already doing good. But if you are an e-commerce company, you can consider collaborating with a payments app like LazyPay or Pay Later, which offer payment plans to your customers. Of course, this is not a marketer's decision, but if your organization allows you to do this, try considering this option because just like businesses, even customers are not willing to shell out money because there are a lot of furloughs, you know that. Try to give them payment plans, try to support them through this journey. In the next some months, even after COVID situation gets better, online shopping is going to become the global necessity. And you can always yield the most out of it. If you are a consultant, you can definitely consider accepting money later in the stage when you are done with your process, if your business allows you to support your customers in a way. For a digital education business also, you can consider offering monthly installments to your customers so that they can just get enrolled in your education program, try this time, then they feel that yes, you are giving some ROI to their time and the money that you are investing. So that is the way to find the solution to conversions. So this is the right time. Find out the top of the funnel leads, then take them to middle and bottom of the funnel leads. This is the time to do it because we know uh, that the targeting and growth pipeline has changed dramatically, and they demand a lot of resilience at this time. So particularly saying, for I has come from Pure Software, which is an IT company, and specifically for B2B businesses, the marketing quadrant has diffused to a greater extent. Fellow speakers from the IT industry will agree to me. And this pandemic has translated into, very serious threat. And yes, I'm talking about the furloughs uh, that are happening across the world. And in this situation, the marketing function cannot just be a marketing function. We have to transform ourselves into a revenue generating function, which is very, very important. So, being from a person from a B2B industry, how would you become a revenue generating function at this time? Because for B2B, gaps that you're looking for is also a bigger size, and companies at this level at this time are not willing to pay out. How do you stay relevant? So for this, what we can do is go for ABM, account-based marketing. So I as a marketing function person is purposely exploring ABM for our organization. And ABM, as we know, is a zero-phased marketing strategy. Even if you are at the end, if you're not able to shell out some business, the strategy will help you build your relationship, foster your relationship with the account people, with the key leaders of the company. So I have to say it in other words, like if you can't go out for a slice of pizza, just make it at home. So these accounts, your ABM strategy is the one you can definitely have good presence here and yield business from these. There are some steps you need to identify the high value target accounts because these accounts are going to be helpful in generating revenue this time also and throughout the year also. These are the high value accounts. You need to conduct really good research on those accounts. So what happens is usually in the companies, in the large organizations, the siloed, and there is not a lot of to or flow of information between the other functions. So this is the time to collaborate those siloed functions, aligning them with the sales, marketing, and the delivery teams. Because the delivery teams, they know exactly what customers want, what our clients are looking for. They have been interfacing with the clients, they have been communicating with them, and they know what is the pain point. So you don't need to go out or just follow them on social media, do social listening, do customer listening. Customer listening is really important at this point in time. Develop a customized marketing campaign which will involve very tailored made message for each company and business domain that you want to promote. You do not want to promote every business function or all these services through. Not the time to go for a spray and pray approach. This is the time to go fishing with the spears, as I mentioned in my slide. Okay, and you can leverage on your existing database, which is that is a customer database, and you are conversing with them throughout the year, and you have the right information about their contact details. Leverage on that. It is very important. You must leverage. And then you can obviously run, if you want to cross sell to different functions, you don't have the exact details of what the company people are looking for. You can definitely look for customized marketing campaigns to upsell and cross sell your products, or maybe you can offer them some freemium product. Just provide them a free trial or POC of your product, and probably in the later run, if your work quality is really good, they will be your customers in another quarter, and that is a win situation for you. And you need to always measure and track the campaigns to analyze the result. This is a bottom line for every other campaign that you run, be it amid COVID, pre-COVID, post-COVID, anytime if you're running it. So I would also like to mention here that we as marketers hold a very important responsibility of internal and communication at this time. It is a very huge responsibility. So we need to be really cautious about communication. But when we are communicating to our customers, push your products or services to them, just knock them with your business preparedness content or resilience to work, your quality assurance, how your product can help getting them through the COVID crisis. Engage with them. Your experts, your SMEs, subject matter experts can provide them workshops or some events or some with over different various, like pure software. We are giving AI ML trainings to our customers also. So that is a way of engaging with your customers at this time. Okay. So in my next slide, I'm going to share about messaging part. As all of us, the previous speakers also said, the data is gold, the content is the king. I don't think any one of us will have a varied opinion on that. When you are trying to leverage the data that you have, the only medium is through communication and messaging. While doing the communication and building the ad copies or emailers or any other content piece that you are building, be really cautious about what you are preparing. If you can see, there is a screenshot of Kent RO System. That was an ad which was posted on their Facebook, and summarizes that your maid who needs the dough, she may be infected. They were trying to promote their kitchen appliances, which can replace the maids to do the kneading. However, this went really wrong, and Kent was trolled of being a classist. And this is the communication thing that you need to be very super conscious about. Similarly, in the case of Complan, if you see, so Complan was trying to degrade Horlicks, and it went really wrong. Don't do this. Never end up never do not end up in a controversy by doing such messaging, because definitely you would not want the CEO or CMO of your company to apologize for ad copy that went wrong. So be really cautious, keep the messaging intent driven. As I said in my previous slides, the intent has to be felt by that you want to help them. You are providing solution to the problem statement. You are just not selling your product. You are there with them at this time of crisis. And also, this is the right time to redesign your website. As Deepa ma'am also shared that website is the gateway to your leads. So revamp and redesign your website. This is the time. You have entire bandwidth to do this. Do it at this time. You can also plan on of running an SEO audit and brush up the SEO strategies for your company so that you are sure that you are driving enough traffic on your website, because in the normal functional situations we do not get so much time for doing these tasks. So this is the time to finish your to-do list. Go to your website, check all the pages, ensure that all the call to action buttons are turning leads into customers. You may have a lot of blogs and a lot of white papers or infographics for that matter written with you. Repurpose that existing content. It is not necessary that you always create new content. You can repurpose that content, change it with the aligning it with the current situation, and then bang on. You can use it anywhere for your promotions. So at this time, people are looking for support. They are looking for education. They want to be understood. They want to be entertained. They want to be engaged with. They are looking for resources probably. So this is the right time to do all of these. Okay, do not sit back. This is not the time to be hidden or sitting back doing nothing, just thinking that we are not able to generate enough leads from the social media or from the digital medium per se. So this is the right time to do everything that you always thought of doing as a marketing function person. Okay, so if these are all the measures and mediums that I think you can consider for generating demand in the current time, as all my previous slides said. So if you think the condition is really bad, difficult, but there is hope on the horizon. So citing example in my slide, Salesforce, you know, that is the biggest cloud-based CRM. Salesforce witnessed tremendous growth when there was the dot-com burst. The Oracle tool Eloqua was adopted by maximum organizations in the year 2000. The Deal a Day website Groupon made $500 million annual profit in 2008 by just sending deals to people. Need that? So this is the time to do all these things because people are looking for it. As I mentioned, tools like HubSpot and Hootsuite were launched in 2008 crisis, and also to share, so Adobe is building customers and trust by offering POC of its product at large at this time also. So they are offering their products, free of cost or just for free trials. They are providing it, and what they are earning, they are earning customers and trust for lifetime. A similar company, LoadShare, raised the funding of about $13.2 million in May, in just this month. Can you imagine? So the condition is not that bad. The situation is not that bad. If they can thrive, so can you, and so can we, and so can everyone thrive through this crisis situation. So that's all from my side, Kavita. I think we can go over to the round, and thank you very much, everyone. You can connect with me on LinkedIn also, and alternatively, you can write to me on gyaneshwari.tiwari@puresoftware.com.
Thank you, Gyaneshwari. It was very nice to hear from you about the wide basket of strategies there are for engaging with customers, and the responsibility of the people from companies in the marketing side has even grown manifold during this time, because communication is very important and nobody can keep silent thinking that nothing is happening. I think communication is key. And how important is it to be important or maybe responsible with your messaging? That came out very clearly in your slides, and I think that's a very important message for all of us. So I'll just take some questions here that have come up. And the first question is, what marketing automation tool would you recommend for multi-channel marketing, keeping in mind that it remains cost effective? Whoever wants to go first, Suchita, Deepa, or Ganeshwari?
I can answer that question if you want.
Yes, please do, Deepa.
I think Deepa is the right person to answer this. She's running a full-fledged agency and has a fair knowledge on this. Yeah.
I can tell you there are a lot of them available depending on your budget. But if you're a small size SMB, there are many options like Clever Tap and many localized options that you can white label also for your clients. But if you to ask me what are the leaders, there are two names that come to me. One is Marketo, which is very famous, Marketo, and the other is Nimble. Another thing that goes here is Eloqua, by Oracle. A lot of companies are using it. If you're in the expansion phase, you must deploy that tool. It helps you gather perspective, insights into your customers deeply, and really takes care of other aspects like value and retention. Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to add anything, Suchita or Ganeshwari?
I think Deepa mentioned this correctly. It does depend on your budget, and she spoke of some of the most popular ones. The only point I'd like to mention here is how important the CRM tool is to be able to aid any of the other digital marketing tools you would use to enhance your marketing efforts. So ensure that the CRM that you use is well engaged and fed well with the right kind of customer data and information, kept clean and updated, so that you get, it's basically trash in, trash out. So if you are putting in the right kind of information and then using those tools, it will give us the best results.
Yeah. So and another thing, Kavita, and to the lady who's asked this question, Anita, if you're still there, I think as Suchita said, that structured and unstructured data is the essence to this delivery. In the sense that if you have very well worked up data, which is very well analyzed, structured, and then fed it into the CRM and connected to your marketing automation tool, will give you a very insightful and value added input on that. So that's the important part. Yeah.
Thank you. Now to the next question. I have this question which says, I'm from a medium-sized company and we have only a few OEM customers as we provide custom-built products that go into the end product. Is digital marketing relevant to me? And if so, where can it be most effective?
You broke, Kavita. Can you repeat that question? I'm sorry if anybody would like to take it, but if you can repeat that question for me, Kavita. What is the question?
See, it's a medium-sized company and they have only a few OEM customers as they provide custom-built products that go into the end product. So is digital marketing relevant to me, or if so, where can it be most effective?
Yes, it is very relevant to you. There's something called closed and curated groups. So when it is a very niche audience, especially a B2B audience like yours, you should network in closed groups. You should nurture so if I were you, I will create a group of mine and I'll call that the Gold Club. I'll call that ADG Gold Club or Vivoki Gold Club. And I'll invite those 50 or 100 customers and pamper them like kings. And I'll make sure that I help build their brands too with that. So that is the magic that you can do. Yeah.
Yeah, just adding to that, ABM, probably the account-based marketing, is a better format for you to look at if you're looking at B2B and a very limited set of audiences that may be giving you larger deal size. So the whole shift from B2C to moving to B2B, your engagement model changes in the way you look at B2B business or serving B2B business. You don't need to spend money on large scale online advertising, because you only know very clearly who your audience is. There's a list of customers, could be 50, 80, 100, and you need to know more about them. So it's not the breadth here, it's the depth that you develop with each of those customers to understand them better, to understand their customers better, so that you can serve them. So account-based marketing is also the right tool or the right framework, if not tool. Actually, ABM is more like a framework. So you should look at ABM as a framework to deploy or to use. Your marketing team should be looking at that.
Okay. So we have a question, a very basic one. It asks, kindly suggest the sources to enhance knowledge on digital marketing.
Suchita, would you want to answer or should I go first?
Yeah, go ahead, Deepa.
So I'll tell you, I read myself a lot, and I would say HubSpot is a very good academy to read regularly. You can read Neil Patel, he's very good. I love it. You can also subscribe to top 10 blogs in the country. There are very few influencers who are not very well known, but they speak and write very well. So basically, you should have your own congregation of these blogs to be abreast, to be on top of what's going on digital media.
Okay. Now, another question is how keywords help in building an online audience, how to look for the right content and target the right people for marketing success.
See, okay, whenever you are building a campaign, there are 3-4 things that you have to understand. There are inbound and outbound marketing. If you're owning the collateral, make sure your website has the right contextual keywords inside it so that Google indexes you pretty well. It proliferates you, it crawls you. That's one. I love personally, I have just woken up to this idea after 10 years that Pinterest is very interesting. If you're trying to build pins of yours, I build a lot of pins. Suddenly I'm very active. You should use hashtags in your social media handles. You should also be curating all your content with a focused 6 or 8 keywords for your business. And then you'll top up the Google listings. That is how. Even your search campaigns can do better with targeted keywords that are aligned with the algorithms of Google.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ganeshwari, a question for you. In your slide on various platforms, you've mentioned under Twitter, throw challenges, puzzles, face marks. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, so as everybody, all of us are aware of the challenges that are thrown, like there was a challenge for a face mask challenge, not the face mask that we are using to cover our face. It is a mask, the beauty mask face mask challenge is thrown on Instagram, and it is, very, very well. How you are engaging with the customers. The innovative idea has to come from you, pertaining to your industry, pertaining to your project, your product. But the only idea is how you are engaging with your customers. So the face mask is one example, and you can see that. So previous times, if you remember the ice bucket challenge, that was one challenge which went viral, and these challenges go viral in a jiffy, and you are able to trend. You are there, your branding is done, and that's how you nurture the leads also. So that is the cycle, that is the journey that a customer goes through, the brand goes through. So first you have to brand yourself. And that is a really nice way to brand yourself at this time. So use Twitter as a medium of engaging with your customers. You can throw some challenges, puzzles, topic, one journal, you can have
Your voice is
send it
breaking.
to your brand.
Ganeshwari.
So, for example, is it better now?
Yes, better now.
Okay. So if you remember when we saw the social distancing phenomena coming in, so you must have seen there was a logo from Fevicol wherein the 2 elephants were taken apart. So that is a type of, tapping on the trends. That is how you can do all these things. Thank you. I think I answered the question rightly.
Thank you. Another question we have is, we are manufacturers of industrial machinery. Does social marketing through Facebook, Instagram make sense? Is it useful for us?
So if I can take this question up, as I was mentioning, that every industry has a different target audience, and for every target audience, we have a different social media platform. So if you are in a B2B business, you have the LinkedIn as the right platform to target your customers. Not primarily, I would suggest to you go with social media, Facebook or Twitter for that matter, but definitely LinkedIn is a good perspective. You can use LinkedIn ads, you can use mails, you can just follow people through LinkedIn and strike a conversation with them. Float your influential content on, use your people as brand advocates of LinkedIn. That's how you graduate your customers about your.
Okay, I think we are getting similar questions now. So that would be all. In case I receive any further questions, I would get in touch with the speakers and respond to each one individually. But right now I'm getting similar questions on, how you can promote yourself on social media. That's a question that's coming up. Would any of you want to answer that? It's a very general question.
What's the question, Kavita?
How do we promote on social media? Maybe just how to go about it.
I think we can all answer this question. All of us can answer. It's a very simple thing. We have to create cross-pollination of content. So if
Yes.
if I was answering this question, I would say I would create a core of the campaign and I will build a viral across all my collaterals on social. And that will give me the much, valued brand input that I'm looking for. I'll do wonders.
Which means the homework needs to be done by the company and then start on the social media.
Absolutely.
Okay. So thank you, all of you. It was very, very informative. And I think it was very, very important that we all discuss these aspects, because this is the way companies are able to get in touch with their customers through the digital media, through all the platforms that we have. And while it is important to do that, how we need to do that and how to be sensitive and empathetic towards the customer's needs is also a very, very important area that was touched upon. I'm very grateful that those elements were brought out by all of you. Deepa for setting the context, and then Suchita for talking about how it's important to be empathetic and the content that needs to necessarily engage with what the customer is also expecting, not just what the company wants. And of course, Gyaneshwari, you touched upon a very important point about messaging, which is also the key over here, because the engagement will happen only if the messaging is correct. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all the participants on behalf of... Yeah, tell me. Somebody wants to say? Deepa, you saying something?
Oh, no, I think that's okay. Kavita, I think I was going to say something, but then it's okay.
Yeah. So just wanted to thank all of you. And we from the Center for Digital Transformation would be having several workshops to engage with the industry. And we would be sending you information. I would request you to kindly join us, because as you heard in the presentation made by Colonel Zaidi in the initial stages, that we embark upon several elements of digital transformation that impacts industry, and the objective is to build a global competitiveness. So would be grateful if you can join us for our future programs as well. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you.
Thank you, Suchita.
Thank you very much, all the audience.
Thank you, Colonel Zaidi, for such a wonderful program. Thank you to everyone.
Have a good day.
Thank you. There is a feedback that has been floated. I would request the participants to kindly fill that and send it to us. Thank you.